Hey, welcome back to Jilly's Journal. I'm outside today doing this. It's so sunny, so beautiful and comfortable out here. It's not a super hot day, so the sun actually feels good. It's not like too overpowering. I actually have my cat out here as well, lounging in his little cat area. It's actually a dog crate because we have a lot of coyotes and particularly right now hawks. So if he was like a free roaming cat, he would probably get scooped up easily. So unfortunately, he's in a cage, but he's out here with me. So I have my journal here, but actually I'm not really referring to it that much. I wanted to just make a video because it's been probably 3 months or so, I think, since I posted something, and I don't want to totally fall through the cracks. There is a topic that I wanted to discuss. I just did not prepare it, so it's not going to come straight from my journal, which sort of stinks. Hopefully, this video moves along and is informative and helpful to people that want to know about how to journal, where to begin. There's not technically a right or a wrong way to journal. I'm just going to give you an example of how I do it. So if you think journaling might be a good idea for you, you're right. If you've never tried it because you don't really know where to start and what your first word would even be that you would write down, like, that's okay. But it's definitely supposed to be something that's personal to you. And you could write down creative stuff, artsy stuff. You could write down what you're thinking, what you're feeling. You could write down what you've done that day, what you're going to do. So let me break it down. This journal, it says dream big. This is where I'll write down dances that I make up, which is so hard to write down, like to describe what the moves are. It's really tedious. But I have dances written down in here. I also have some guidelines for YouTube videos that I made previously and other thoughts that I've had that might turn into something productive in my life. So that's like my dream journal, my goal journal. So things that I'm going to put into action, sort of. But I also have other journals. I have a regular journal where I'll write in anything at all that I'd like to write in it. My thoughts, my feelings. And then I do have a couple of separate journals. Like there's like activity journals that might ask you questions or give you an activity to do that it just helps you think, especially if you're like bored and you want something to do, it'll give you little prompts. It's almost like you're in school, right? So that, and then someone, my neighbor gave me a prayer journal, which it does have some little excerpts from the Christian Bible, but it is something that I write in less frequently because I try to keep it very neat and simple so that if I ever look back on it, it's just very nice, simple things that I've written for me, like that I've written to God or my thoughts. But I try not to write just anything in that one because I'm trying to keep it like clean and neat. But otherwise, any paper will do. You don't even have to have a journal. Obviously, businesses and companies make money off of just selling something that looks pretty, and you're like, oh, I want that. And then you could end up with like 6 journals, and you haven't filled any one of them up entirely. I've gone through a lot of journals. I would just have like the regular, I forget what they're called, but the journals, composition notebooks, like the black and white ones. I would just write in those a lot. And then once in a while I'd buy cute ones. Like this one is a very useful, specific one because I've taught a dance class. I've posted YouTube videos. So that's like a very practical journal that I have. So anyway, if you want to start journaling, just basic, just to get things off your mind, to make you feel better, make you feel less anxious, make you feel less depressed, make you feel less worried, then paper and pencil, that's all you need. So I usually start, let's get into the details. We're at almost 5 minutes here in this video, and I don't want to ramble too much. Like I said, I did not plan this one out. But so I'll start journaling by first writing down, actually it's not totally sequential, but I'll write down what I did that day, unless it's morning time, of course. Actually, I'm sorry. Before I tell you that, I'll actually read the last most recent journal excerpt. So I'll like read what I journaled the day before, because I usually write maybe like a page, and the page might be like this big, so it's not too much. I'll just read that before I start my journal entry for that day. And I don't journal every day, but I do it often, several times a week. But I think it's kind of good to like really make use of your journal. Reading a previous excerpt, it's going to help you realize where you're at. Like if you're writing about your feelings or your thoughts, if you're journaling for the sake of like your mental and emotional health, or like trying to sort out relationships or financial issues, whatever you're journaling about, reading something from the previous day is going to be helpful, because you might notice patterns. You might notice that you're doing better, which is awesome. You also might notice, wow, I've been journaling about the same negative things for like 6 days in a row. Maybe I need some help to figure out how to solve this issue or whatever. So it's helpful to actually like use your journal excerpts as a tool for yourself when it comes to like your health and whatnot and your goals. So I will read a previous excerpt. Like I said, I will journal either about what I did that day. So I'll start writing what I did that day, or what I might plan to do, or basic things. I might make a quick note of the weather. Right now the sky is blue, windy, beautiful fresh air. I might make little side notes. And then I also will structure it a little bit. I'll write down the word thoughts, and then I'll put a colon, like the 2 dots. And I'll write down my thoughts, my worries. I'll worry about relationships, or I'll worry about like my weight, or I'll worry about things that are on my mind that really rent space in my mind. I write all those thoughts down, and I'll do that, and then I'll write down the word feels. You could write down the word feelings. I just use the word feels. And then a colon, the 2 dots. And then I just write down what I'm feeling. It's kind of structured in a way, especially if you go back to like read your previous excerpt. You might see thoughts and feels, and you might be able to just refer to that real quick if you need a quick reference. But also, it's good to like compartmentalize things in your head. When you start writing it down, you might realize, oh, I have these thoughts going on. I have these feelings going on. Or, oh, I've been thinking so much about this, but it's just a thought. Maybe I should try to change my thoughts, get my mind off of this. Or, oh, these are just feelings. This is something I'm going through. It's kind of to piggyback on that. And, moreover, there's a meditation actually, which it's hard to guide this type of a meditation. It's definitely more of like a solo meditation. It's called labeling. And it's relevant to journaling in a way that what you do is you sit with yourself. This is a great meditation for those who don't like to meditate. What you actually do is, you take some deep breaths, and then you just let your mind be. And instead of, they'll say in mindfulness meditation, oh, if a thought pops up, tell yourself, okay, let the thought go. Turn your attention back to your breath. No, not in labeling. In labeling, you let your thoughts happen, and you label them, such as, pretend this is my thought. Oh, I'm so upset about my weight. I'm so much heavier than I want to be. I wish that I was confident like these other girls that are heavier. I'm so insecure. And in my head during this labeling meditation, I can label that as worry. I could label that as obsession. So I'm sitting here, I'm meditating, and all of a sudden I go, wow, I'm thinking a lot about the same thing. I'm worrying a lot about something. I'm actually obsessing about something. So your brain, you're kind of training your brain to like put a label on something and stop letting it consume you, to realize that like that problem, that situation is not you. It's something that you're doing, or it's something that you're worrying, you're obsessing, whatever it is. So back to journaling. When you journal, like if you write down your thoughts and then you write down your feelings, you're definitely obviously I'm not a doctor or a therapist, but from my experience with journaling, you're really helping yourself clear your mind, clear out your energies, because you're putting your thoughts and your feelings on paper, you're expressing them, but you're also able to see that, like, wow, I've got a lot of thoughts, or I've got a lot of thoughts about this or that, or wow, I've got a lot of worry, I've got a lot of feelings like this or that. And you're basically just organizing. You're organizing yourself, like your whole self, your feelings, your thoughts, all of it, your energy. So I hope that everyone will try journaling. If you've thought about it, don't knock it. Also, when I journal, so we've got so far, let me recap. You might journal about what you're doing that day, what you already did that day. You might journal about your thoughts and your feelings. And then you might choose to have a little bit of fun and get creative. Maybe you want to write a poem. And you might think, I don't write poetry. But that doesn't mean you can't. Maybe it would be good for you. Pick something that, for example, pick something that you're worrying about. And just think of a few specific words to describe what you're going through, and just write those words in one stack. And that's your poem. One word on each line. Start there. Get creative. You could also like do little sketches in your journal if you're saying, oh, it's sunny today. I'm so happy it's sunny. You could draw a sun instead of writing the word sun. Or you could draw a peace sign or a smiley face, whatever. So that, I was going to mention something kind of important. That's why I wish that I had like planned this out, but I've been slacking on YouTube videos in general and podcast recordings. So, the last thing is you can also journal about, I hope I remember. So you've got things that you're doing or that you have done, your thoughts, your feelings. You might want to get creative. Oh, and then you've heard of this before, a gratitude journal, right? Doesn't have to be a specific journal. You could write on that same piece of paper what you're grateful for. Start with 3 things. And then if you notice when you go back and read a journal excerpt once in a while, or maybe you read them before you journal every time like I do, maybe you'll notice that you're always being grateful for the same things. Think, wow, could I broaden my horizons here, whatever I'm trying to say? Could I just broaden my perspective here and start to notice some other things that maybe I should be grateful for, right? For me, for example, I'm grateful for fresh air. Not everyone has the freedom to just go outside, walk outside. Some people physically don't have the freedom, like they're handicapped. Other people live in an institution or a nursing home and they just don't have the freedom to just come and go as they please. Some people are in trouble. They're in an institution where they literally might get 20 minutes outside a day. And then going to an event or spending a whole day at the beach is unheard of for some people, right? So being grateful for the freedom to go outside and enjoy fresh air. Being grateful for whatever family or friends that you have. And if you don't have that, if you're going through a hard time, maybe you have a therapist, or maybe you can be grateful that you have yourself. Maybe you're your own best friend. And be grateful for the relationships you have had in your life, because maybe they've taught you something. You could be grateful for a pair of shoes you bought the other day. could be grateful for food to eat, water, clean water if you have it. Yeah, there's a lot. And so those are the things that I journal about. I have a little bit of a system. And then as I've gotten older and as time has moved on and as I've journaled more and more and more, I get a little bit more loosey-goosey with it. I still like to write out thoughts and feelings and like what I'm grateful for, but it's not always in a specific order. But I do recommend, if you're just starting out and you're stressed out about where to even begin, write these steps down and just follow that sequence every time you journal. And then over time, you might really look forward to it because it's like a familiar task, and you might notice that it helps you a lot. So you might be encouraged to do it just from that. So that's this video, and I hope I was loud enough. I just record on my phone. I don't have any fancy technology. It's beautiful right now. I hope that you have a great day, whoever's watching this, and take care. Thank you so much for watching. Please share this or like this if you like any one of my videos. I don't use a lot of social media myself, so I hope that you'll share it with the people that you know. I like word of mouth better anyway. So, thank you. Peace.